And of course, we now have Steve Bannon, Donald Trump's top advisor. In a special report, we'll be taking a look through history at the people behind the people in power. Steve Bannon, another fine example of Trump's swamp draining, ex-Goldman Sachs, ex-chairman of Breitbart, and now Trump's chief strategist. And he actually looks like a bloated corpse you'd find face down in a swamp. Breitbart, Tim, poisonous right-wing news outlet favoured by twats and bigots that runs headlines that compare feminism with cancer. The guy who used to run that now runs the White House. Who gave Trump the ludicrous idea that Obama tapped his phones? The FBI? CIA? Nope. Trump accuses Obama of a federal crime based on what appears to be no evidence at all other than a spurious article from Breitbart. Trump's cretiny knows no bounds. All right, let's look at the past couple of weeks, Tim. He's out on the campaign trail again for no apparent reason, saying things like, I saw something terrible in Sweden last night. What happened? A terrorist attack? No, what he meant was, I was watching Fox News last night and something about Sweden came up. So I'm just going to say it and you guys can work out the rest. He's the President of the United States. He needs to watch his fucking mouth. Then, the scandal that really rocked the White House. New York Times says Trump wears a bathrobe, so out scurries his little rodent press secretary. He doesn't even own a bathrobe. So for the next 2 days, you can't move for pictures of Trump in bathrobes. Meanwhile, Steve Bannon is there, Tippexing out bits of the Constitution, while we're busy obsessing about Trump's collection of dressing gowns. The press conference with Netanyahu, okay? Instead of taking valid questions about his administration's questionable dealings with Russia, Trump takes planted questions from news outlets like the fucking Idaho Farmers Weekly or whatever, because his advisor lying about Russia is just fake news, apparently, even though he just fired the guy. No questions, please. Couple of days later, CNN, The Guardian, The New York Times, and the BBC are locked out of a briefing. Fox News and Breitbart are allowed in, of course. Now, rightly or wrongly, the BBC is one of the world's most respected news outlets, okay? You don't just get to decide it isn't. Tim, I'm not discussing the pros and cons of the BBC. The pros are Saturday Kitchen and the cons are Fiona Bruce and me not working there. My point is, a politician arbitrarily deciding which news outlets to either legitimise or undermine is the behaviour of a dictator. Full stop. Period. In Trump's world, it's Fox News or fake news and nothing else. He needs to discredit the media as quickly as possible because whatever dodgy shit he's done or will do over the next 4 years, he knows a discredited media will be powerless to bring him down when the shit hits the fan. Then he does a big speech. For a second he looks mildly presidential and then he fucks it and tweets about Obama tapping his phones, creating a scandal that, if found to be true, would be of Nixon proportions. Under an hour later, he's already bored of that, so he's tweeting about Arnold Schwarzenegger getting shit ratings on a fucking reality TV show. 24 hours after that, another travel ban. Yeah, you can't come in. You can't come in. You've got a beard. You can't come in. Then another press conference to launch a new healthcare plan. But instead of facts and details, they use props. All we learn is Obamacare was this much paper and the new plan is this much paper. So it's less paper. Great. But how does it actually work? Well, that's a question. Can't have questions or debate or criticism in the White House. That would be like living in a democracy. He's still doing campaign rallies for an election he's already won because you get all the attention but without the questions. And definitely no questions about the world's greatest healthcare plan because, of course, it isn't a healthcare plan at all. It's a fucking tax break for rich people. And then, finally, in one of the simplest pieces of political commentary I've seen since the tangoed pussy grabber took office, late on Tuesday night, the Statue of Liberty's lights go out, as if the very concept of liberty and justice had just given up and had a nervous breakdown. Henry VIII had Cromwell, Blair had Mandelson, and Steve Bannon